We've been working extremely hard during this last milestone and are excited to show what we've accomplished.
Hello, this is Jason Paris from Team 1. I will be presenting some of the work that was done by our team for this third and final milestone. First up, we have documentation in the form of a lecture topic task done by Nestor Santos, where he describes the user authentication procedures using abstract algebra. In the included PDF, you can see it's a mathematical model of user authentication using abstract algebra. Its objective to describe the user authentication processes, sign up, sign in, log out of the online housing marketplace using concepts from abstract algebra. So first up we have the definitions of sets and states, where U is the set of all possible users, S to be the set of all user states. Some defined definitions, initial states. Next we have operations, where we define operations that transform users from one state to another. There's the sign up state operation, login state operation, logout operation. Algebraic structure. We consider the composition of operations and define an algebraic structure over them. Let O, all these symbols, be the set operations, define binary operation as function compositions. Closure of such identity, all these definitions. And finally, the security implications and verification, where it uses the algebraic model. We can verify correctness by ensuring operations respect state preconditions. Next up, we have the sign up page. Previously in the other video, this is actually broken, right? The sign up page, when you clicked sign up, you would just stay in this screen and you wouldn't move up to your next state. That is now fixed. So once you input correct user data, once all your user data is valid and you click sign up, you're no longer stuck in the sign up page, but it will send you to the profile page, so you're no longer stuck on the sign up, sends you here. Finally, in Firebase, these new databases were added. These were to assist us in whatever thing we had to do. So new databases for chat rooms, listing, notifications. Finally, some work done by Christian Ramos, donde is for unfortunately I don't have Zodiac, right? Okay, él añadió código para el presionar el botón se conecta con Firebase, Authentication y ocurre la autenticación. Segundo, añadió código para que cuando se haga la autenticación lleve la página a otra página que no sea login page. Lo que se llama route or navigator también actualiza links para que, por ejemplo, estando en el login page, hay código para ambas. Okay, essentially, things about authentication. It still needed a bit more testing, so it conflicted with something in the project, but it is done. But unfortunately, the code is just not working. But that is essentially it. Goodbye.
Hello, I am from Team 2, and I am going to be going through our final demo for Milestone 3 of the changes we made. We worked in listings and searching. Anyways, this is the home page where you can see all of the active listings on the web app. Here we have test 4, test 3, test 1, test 2, and we also have different filters such as minimum, max, beds, and baths. The UI for all of these got changed recently, and now it looks better and more condensed. Before it used to be like a bunch of lines, and it used to reach like all the way down here. It was ugly. One of the big key things that we did for Milestone 3 is that the listings that you're seeing here used to be dummy data, but now they are completely from the Firebase. I'm going to change it over to the Firebase here so you can see kind of. Here you can see that the test 4 is here, test 3 is here, and test 1, test 2, and so forth. And they all accurately display here. Test 3, $23, the money's correct and everything. You can also go into them and they display the title, the price correctly. Weren't able to fully finish the user name here and the date, but we definitely would have done that if we had more time. Okay, moving on, the search works like, let's type 3, then we only get test 3, 4, we only get test 4. Minimum money, let's put 80, the other one disappears, the $23 one disappears. Anyways, other than that, we also made the favorites completely work with Firestore. Let's do test 1. If I click here, favorite, boom, it is now true. And if we go over to the favorite section, we will see test one in the favorites section, which is amazing. There were some challenges with that. We first attempted to use doc ID, but it didn't work, and we ended up going by the title. But in the future, like if we had more time, of course, we probably would have switched over to just using the doc ID instead of the title. Other than that, let me log in quickly. Let me see if I logged in correctly. It tells me here that I logged in. Okay, I just logged in with an account, and now that I log in with an account, I can go to my listings, and it will display all of the user created listings. As you can see, all of these four have the same UID from the logged in user, and in the user section, it also keeps, where is it? Here, the email that is logged in, which is perfect. Other than that, you can create listings. Let's do one real quick. Rooms 3, bedrooms 5, location San Juan, parking lot 2. I looked up some random image, and let's hit create. You should see it here update very quickly. Boom, the listing got updated and it appears here. The images aren't working completely correctly, but we would develop that further if we had more time. We also have the deactivate and activate buttons that would take us to the inactive listings, but that is currently not fully connected to the Firestore data. It is still with dummy data implementation, so it doesn't switch it over there yet. The edit currently loads previous information. As you can see, it loads it all. Here it actually picks up the image, but when you click save, it doesn't update it here. Like if I were to update this to, it doesn't update because we couldn't figure out a way to grab all the information and edit it. One final feature is the map. In the map, you can just kind of look at the map around. We never got to the point where we integrated it, so you could just put the pin location when you create a listing, but at least you can look at the map here. We have the Maps API, and this button down here, basically, you press it and it takes you back to the college, so you can start from there again, and you can just search different locations. Overall, I think Team 2 did very well in executing everything that we had and implementing everything that we had to do for the project, especially since for most of us, if not all, this is our first time working with Flutter and Firebase. Team 2 did an absolutely amazing job. Everyone was very responsible and communicated. Our team was just stacked. Other than that, nothing is perfect, right? So we faced some challenges at first. Getting used to Firebase was a pretty complicated thing to do, and implementing Firebase because we had created the house tile completely with a separate class that had nothing to do with the lodging and listings classes that we had. So deleting that and changing it all over to the lodging class that was integrated with Firestore was definitely a very big challenge. Other than that, in the beginning when using dummy data, we would find the listings through a setDoc.id, which was a random generation of integers. And we tried to use it again when integrating to Firestore, but later realized that we couldn't, and we ended up using the user and the title. Other than that, I think one last challenge was, in the UI side of things, was overflow. We would get overflow everywhere in the beginning since not many of us have made UI before. Now, on what we would do if we had more time, I think we would definitely first make it so we already have an image API implemented, but we would tweak it so it actually works better because right now it's just kind of saving the URL of the image, but it's not displaying it correctly. We would also fully change the inactive listing so it works with Firestore, make it so the editing fully works, integrate the suggested listings page, trending page, and the recently added page. We are all things that we would definitely do. But yeah, that will be all for Team 2.
Hello, this is Gerald from Team 3, the chat system of the online marketplace project. For Milestone 3, our main goal was to integrate into the main application the chat system we made in the previous milestone. And with help from the integration team, we were able to successfully complete this. Homepage of our application. If we click on the sidebar, we see that we have a button here that shows the chat system. Once we click it, we enter the chat system and we see a user list. Here we can choose the user that we want to chat with. Once we're inside the chat, we can have all the functionalities that we implemented in the previous milestones successfully merged into the rest of the application. So here we can see that the red message indicator is working, the amount of time that has passed since a message has been sent is also displayed here, and the message editing functionality within 5 minutes of sending is also functional. So you long press a message and you can edit it within 5 minutes, as well as the notification system where you click the bell here and you can see if you have any new messages or notifications. Apart from that, we also integrated visual branding and we ensured that the application followed the color palette established, and we also made sure that the chat system was cohesive. So to achieve this, I basically added the RUM Housing logo to the background of the chat system, and here in the corner, as you can see. Once we go back to the user list, we can also see that the logo is there as well to provide a more cohesive chat system experience. Factored key parts of the chat logic into utility functions to make them reusable across other parts of the application, as you can see in this code right here. That is everything that we implemented in Milestone 3 for the chat system. Thank you.
Team 4's goal, this milestone, was to integrate all the team's features into one web app. We separated these into 4 priorities, that being the authentication, the user setup, listing system, the chat, and notification system. Authentication would have to do with login register, user setup with the user profile creation once they initially come into the web app, decide to make an account. The listing system was Team 2's features, where they created the browse listings, the looking into a listing's detail if you're interested, creating and editing a listing, and favoriting the listing, and much more. The chat and notification system, it includes the chats page where you can see all the chats you had with other people that have accounts on the web app, and the page where you say have the conversation with the landlord or whoever is interested in your listing. Team 4 started off with a branch that had simply the router, and each team had a different branch. Basically, we had 4 different web apps that we'd have to combine into one. Our thought process through this was much like this table that I created. Basically, what it says is that we would identify the features. We divided ourselves into the 4 main features, and we analyzed how compatible the branch of that team was to ours. Sometimes it gave us problems, sometimes not, with the file structure and everything, the merge conflicts. But eventually we would get both branch to accommodate each other. We then integrate the feature into the web application, as I said. Then, of course, we would follow this up with testing the feature. We did not want to ruin any functionality that the teams made before, and we want the web app to work smoothly, the buttons working as they should, the authentication also working as it should. And if it passed all our tests, then we finished with that phase or that feature, that integration of that feature. Now I'll be showing you guys what Team 4 achieved this milestone and giving you guys the overall view on how we integrated all of these features. Here's our router. It now contains the home page, favorites, the logging and register, the chat, the map, the listings and the inactive listings, In the homepage, here you would find the view of all of the listings, and you would be able to filter it depending on what your preference is, what you're looking for. We have the favorites page. Here you would look at your favorite listings, the login, and the register, the map where you can look at where the listings are displayed. You can also put in your location. You can find your listings and the inactive listings.